Well, he's best known as Sawyer from the hit drama Lost. She's made her mark on TV playing strong women in adverse circumstances, most notably in The Walking Dead. Now they come together to play a husband and wife struggling to survive and bring liberty back to the people of an occupied Los Angeles in the highly anticipated drama Colony. This morning, I am talking with Josh Holloway and Sarah Wayne Callies. Thank you both so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Well, you are both obviously very familiar faces. We are so glad you are now joining together to be in this hit show, Colony. But actually, this is not the first time you two have worked together. Is that right?
That's
true.
Right. We did a movie together 10 years ago.
10 years ago,
or a little longer.
Before we had kids.
Before kids, we were wild and, you know, still free. And it was fantastic. It was that wonderful first season movie, that horror movie you do right away. It was fantastic.
I love it.
You know what was cool about it is it was right after the first season of Lost and right before the first season of Prison Break.
Yes.
So it was the very beginning of both of our careers.
Yes.
And so it's been nice to kind of have somebody going through it all
Yes.
with you and be able to check in and work together again now.
Well, that's incredible, and I think that chemistry from the past is obvious in this new show, Colony. And I have to say, you know, just from the trailer, it catches you right off the bat there, right? Thank you for that. So kind of give our viewers a little bit of an overview of what the show's really going to be about.
You want to do it or you want me to do it?
Well, I'll just give you my one line. It's an espionage spy thriller with a dash of sci-fi. So there it is in a nutshell. Now go.
Someone in interview today called it a social science fiction, which I thought was interesting. I mean, it's a story about a family trying to survive in occupied Los Angeles. We've been separated from one of our sons. And so, you know, the question that starts us off kind of on this journey is, do you risk the safety of the children at your home to go after this kid who may or may not be living or dead, may or may not be accessible, may or may not be someplace that you can even find him? Or do you somehow try and let go of that child in order to protect the children that are with you? And Will and Katie take very different approaches to the answer to that question. And it starts to drive a wedge between them, philosophically.
Which is a wedge is already kind of there, because even statistically in real life, if in a marriage, when you lose a child, the marriage normally doesn't survive.
Yeah.
So it's the loss of this child is really the catalyst of this beginning of this.
Yeah, yeah. But it's also, you know, that story is used as a framework to explore issues of what kind of an oppressive government creates a resistance movement. When does that resistance movement call itself freedom fighters? When do they become terrorists? It asks a lot of, the way science fiction does, it asks a lot of really sort of current questions on a larger scale than just the family.
Absolutely. Well, it's really diving into so many different issues. I know we can call it sci-fi, we can call it a drama. It's all of those things wrapped up into one. And I know we say an occupied Los Angeles, and the question is what? Who's occupying Los Angeles? But I know we're not allowed to give that away yet. But Josh, I want to talk to you. This show is actually reuniting you with the executive producer from Lost, Carlton Cuse. So
yes,
that's super exciting for us Lost fans out there. I have to tell you, my mom is super jealous that I get to talk to you this morning. So just want to throw that out there.
Go,
if you
Mom.
could say hi, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Oh, she's so tickled, I can tell you. But I want to know, kind of in your opinion, how does this show kind of compare to other sci-fi series out there?
It's ultimately a human story, and this is a very human story, though there are elements of sci-fi. This is one of the oldest stories in the book. Occupation, colonization is something we've been doing to each other since the beginning of time, and are doing now very currently throughout parts of the world. So it's an old, current story.
I think,
but ultimately a human story with a sci-fi backdrop.
yeah, and I think, I mean, compared to a lot of the other science fiction that's being done currently, it's quite literally grounded. You know, our story starts on Earth, and our story starts with humans. And the science fiction is a backdrop for exploring the issues of what humans do to each other. So this isn't a show that takes place on a spaceship with cool sort of like onesie uniforms, which is awesome, by the way, and I
laser
love
guns.
those shows.
I
And
love
yeah,
those
yeah.
shows too, but
We're kind of
it's not
jealous that they get that stuff and we don't. Maybe season 2. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, you guys, I, for one, am going to be tuning in every Thursday night to catch Colony because I'm already hooked. So I want to say it's such an honor to
All right.
speak with you both this morning. Thank you so much for talking to our viewers.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
And you can catch Colony Thursdays on USA Network. Don't go anywhere. The Morning Blend will be right back.